My name is Gaven S, and I would like to share with you some things about myself to help you get to know me. I was born in Cheyenne, Wyoming in 1973, where my dad was drafted into the Air Force a year prior. After he did his 4-year term, my mom and dad decided to move back to Texas, to a small town of Bay City, Texas, near a small town where they grew up. I spent my younger years in a Catholic elementary school and spent my middle school and high school in public schooling. I have a younger brother, he's 4 years younger. We spent our entire childhood fighting, picking on each other. Until he got old enough where his punches hurt. That was the end of that. My family was very active. I have a lot of good childhood memories. We played tennis, we played golf, we threw the football, threw the baseball. I was very active in sports throughout middle school and high school. Played baseball, pole vaulted for the track team, and got along pretty well with my teachers for the most part. I was an A/B student. I had one teacher who didn't get along so well. She had very bad breath. We won't get into that. I won't go there. After high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I took a few college classes. Went to, my parents were very strict. After lots of arguments, I got tired of arguing with them. They did as well. I ended up joining the Navy. I thought that was a great idea. And they weren't arguing with me at the time. I went to boot camp in Chicago, and then followed by that, went to avionics school in Millington, Tennessee. I was stationed in San Diego, where I spent 2 tours on aircraft carriers, one on the USS Kitty Hawk and one on the USS Nimitz. Both were very impressive, coming from a small town. These ships, they held at least 3,500 sailors. It was really awesome to see, especially for a small town kid. After we traveled to, being in San Diego, we did, I guess, West Coast tours. We traveled to Singapore, China, Hong Kong, Korea. It was just after the Gulf War, so it was called Southern Watch. We spent a lot of time in the Persian Gulf. Well, I enjoyed my experience in the Navy. It was very beneficial to me. It gave me time to prioritize, kind of find out who I was and what I needed to do. I knew that I didn't want to be a career Navy man, sailor, and I felt at that time I was ready to go to college. So after my 4-year term, I went to Austin Community College in Austin, Texas, spent a couple years there, and then transferred to the University of Houston, where I worked on my bachelor's in electrical engineering and an intern for CenterPoint Energy. When I graduated from the University of Houston, I took a job with Motorola in Seguin and worked in the manufacturing business. We built OnStar, Bluetooth, and GPS equipment for other vehicles. After a couple years at Motorola, the plant was having trouble competing in the foreign market, so after a couple rounds of layoffs, I was let go. In between jobs, I did some construction work, framed houses, installed siding, pretty much whatever cash job I could find. And a job came up in Houston, working for an electrical engineering consulting firm called Barnes & McDonald. And we're right across the street, just outside the loop on San Felipe and 610. Prior to leaving Seguin, Texas, I met a beautiful young lady. You know where this is going now. After about 6 months of dating, I figured, I couldn't live without her. So after about, 6 or 8 months, we were engaged to be married. And we found a fixer-upper house here in Houston, Texas. I brought a picture of my little family. Aww. Aren't they cute? At least these two. So you can see the fixer-upper house in the background. After 4 years of projects, it's still in the works. So my wife's, when she's not raising our 1-year-old son, she takes night classes. So she's a wonderful mom. I don't know how she keeps everything together, but she does a wonderful job. So, I'm still working on this house. When I'm not working on it, I enjoy playing golf. I like playing softball, do a lot of fishing. I've recently gained an interest in triathlons. I've done a few sprint triathlons in the past couple of years, which is pretty challenging. It's just an abbreviated version of a triathlon. Becoming an adequate speaker is a recent goal of mine. I've always been pretty quiet and would like to become better at communicating my thoughts. I think this will help me at work as well as my personal life. I'm sure my wife will appreciate it if I can communicate my feelings better. With that said, I would like to thank you for listening to me, and I'll turn the floor back over to Victor.
All right.